So, moving on to the mildly spicy segment today. I had a dedicated video about this before, but as I don't really have too much reach, and in all honesty, the video had very bad sound balance. This message did not reach its intended recipient, so I have to make this point again. So the Lotus Eaters are a reasonable commentary podcast. They are your usual centrist. Yeah, I'm gonna say mostly centrist commentators, talking heads, whatever you want. The progeny of the soy father, and they sometimes oversimplify the message. I don't know if it's either from a product of a lack of time to delve into nuance, or just because the boomer slash Gen X curse is just so strong. They had a recent take. I hope it's going to be audible.
And all the work she does, and Nuance Bro making the point that she even points out herself in this video of a day in the life of me as a blah blah blah. She worked a whole 3 hours in her job.
Hey! Breakfast is very important, okay?
Okay, see now you can expect all the typical jokey jokes about this genre of day in the life TikToks, and as cringeworthy as it is, and as ridiculous as it is as a format, the gentlemen pictured here are missing the point entirely. And the problem here is they think this is a true to life, serious representation of what goes on in the headspace of people in Silicon Valley companies, which it is not. These videos are a shop window, they are advertising. They're what's called employer branding. So let's watch the TikTok and live react, and I'll break down the exact components of why it exists the way it does, and I'm gonna translate the secret code that's being showed to us.
Manager or whatever.
This is a day in my life as a product designer at Meta. I work out of their headquarters.
Okay, so very important point that was also missed by the Lotus Eaters here. Product designer is not a creative position. It's not a designer in the sense that it's a person that paints stuff. Product designers are people who, excuse me, I need to reach for my tea kettle. Product designers are people who work on usability and functions. They are the people who design the UX and UI logic of various apps, specifically in the Meta ecosystem, which is currently growing. So it is still it is on the edge between STEM and, let me check my tracking real quick. It's right on the edge between, what the fuck? Just a second. Camera? Yes, thank you. If you could, yes. So product design and UX design is right on the edge between creatives and STEM, in the sense that there are still hard skills in UX design and there are do's and don'ts, but there's also a creative component to it because you're sort of working with the human element of the end user, and you need to be ahead of the curve in creating a usability scenario that's going to feed into all of the patterns of our psychology and our habits to make sure that the user stays on the app and dedicates as much screen time to it as possible. So no, this is still very much a technically driven position.
Headquarters in Menlo Park, and this campus.
First thing we are being shown the Menlo Park campus. So we're being shown facilities. So couch this in my previous comment of this being advertisement for potential employees.
This honestly reminds me of Disneyland. At 9:30, I got breakfast with my team who are here this week for a 3-day design workshop.
This is also a very important detail that they gloss over entirely. This is a workshop. This is not a typical day. This is not their typical workflow. This is a get-together that is designated, that is designed to achieve a certain thing. Either they need to finalize a design of an app, or they need to synchronize their approach to designing a specific element of a product that they're working on. This is a dedicated event that needs to do a thing, in addition to the team building benefits of people working together in a combined space, something that you need events to achieve these days because most people are working remotely, especially in California.
In the morning, we did different design thinking activities before getting lunch at our barbecue pit, which is our smokehouse on campus. We couldn't forget about dessert, so we went to our sweet shop to get some ice cream.
Another thing that's very important to notice here, because this is the product design team, um, they need to be in the same headspace. They need to have the same consumption habits to their target audience that they want using the app. Because currently Facebook is faced with an issue when they have become boomer book. Millennials don't want to use Facebook, and the only meta product they're using is Instagram. Maybe Oculus, but that still isn't mainstream enough. This is the purpose of creating this trust fund millennial reservation, this perpetual Disneyland. It's because they need to be in the headspace of people they want on the app. So this is very deliberate, and this is a very deliberate choice by HR. This is by design. Second of all, I lost my train of thought there. Oh, right, yes, this is still advertising. They are advertising their facilities to would-be applicants. And the applicants that their HR wants are default liberal, Californian, or New York, or whatever other flavor of coastal you want. Whatever flavor of coastal you can get. Preferably, they want them to be a fresh undergrad. And for Gen X, you used to appeal to, just shared values, great benefits, perspective of growth. Millennials were mostly reeled in by work-life balance, and more recently, younger millennials and Zoomers, they care about being entertained because the new workflows demand that you are pretty much perpetually locked into your work, so you might as well be comfortable while you exist in the wage cage 9000. It's unfortunate, but them's are the breaks.
In the afternoon, we continued working on our different projects before exploring the campus on bikes.
Now, watch that time frame. They say, like, oh, you've only done 3 hours of work, but they've glossed over the entire workshop they had in the morning, likely because they need to make sure that the team is synchronized in terms of their understanding of the product, of the components of the UI and whatnot. A 3-hour brainstorm dedicated to just project work is actually extremely intense, especially since this is a limited time exercise. So given that this is a workshop, so it has a very limited time frame, the productivity demands are actually very high, and 3 hours of working with several projects is actually very labor intensive, just not in a very obvious way. So it does make sense that in between that, they are wined, dined, and entertained. That is how you keep up morale and productivity in projects that go over through a span of days while maintaining relatively high workloads.
Next, we went to another building to explore our 9-acre rooftop park. We grabbed some snacks and drinks before sitting outside in our courtyard. We took the shuttle back to Classic Campus and ended the evening with a team dinner.
So there we go, that was 3 hours work.
This is what
No, that wasn't 3 hours work. That was 3 hours of just project work, in addition to their workshop materials, and yes, in addition to the R&R that's typically a part of any out-of-office event, and this was an out-of-office event because technically an in-office event, but an event that's put together, an in-person event that is a distraction from your usual workflows. And again, the purpose of creating this video was not to show a typical day at the office, it was to showcase the facilities, to showcase the fact that, hey, new hires, you're graduating with a 4.1, 4.3 GPA from your undergrad degree, come work for us. We have snacks, cookies, comfortable facilities, pleasant people, and we will also make sure that your day-to-day is not just the grind. You will be given an opportunity to interact with your peers, and you will have access to snacks, to good food, etc., etc. The purpose of these videos is never to show the actual content of work, and no one in their right minds is going to show you the content of their work, because that stuff is strictly NDA and nobody wants to see it. This is a PSYOP created by HR, and you are having a melty over an ad. Please be better, Lotus Eaters.